ground. You know what I mean? I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what to do with that. So I just hustled back to my classroom. My friend and I, boy, we both loved sports, especially basketball. My friend was so athletic that he could jump in the air with the ball, he could touch the ball with 2 hands off his foot and still dunk it with 2 hands. He was a high flyer. I mean, and he went on to play college basketball. Well, I played college basketball. Matter of fact, I played at Heston College. But I was part of this group called, I don't even know what we were called. I think like the Dog Pound or something, but we all sat on the end of the bench. We never really got in unless we were up by 30 or down by 30. And we would wave our towels, and we'd stand up, and ooh, we'd do all kinds of crazy things. And I can remember looking at the clock, being up by 30 points. And the pressure would mount. The clock's winding down, 2 minutes. Now we're under 2 minutes. And the crowd would begin to chant, put in Luke, put in Luke. And I'd just sit there, I'm so nervous. You know, oh my goodness, the crowd's going crazy. Finally, the coach would buckle under pressure. And he'd say, Hartman, come on, you're going in. So I'd come down, and I'd be ready to check in, and I'd watch the clock. And as soon as there's a dead ball, I get to go in. But sometimes it would get all the way down to like 14 or 15 seconds before the horn would sound, and I'd get to go in. I mean, are you kidding me? Am I that awful that I'm going to blow a 30-point lead in less than 2 minutes by myself? Oh, what that does for the self-esteem. And sure enough, I'd go in, 1 trip up, 1 trip back, and horn sounds, good game, good game, good game, good game. And we'd go to the locker room. Now there was an upside. There was an upside to this. I didn't have to shower. You know what I mean? I could just like go and then I got a good seat on the bus, and when we stopped to eat, I'm first in line. I mean, I tried to be the eternal optimist. But that was my basketball career. My friend and I, we both gravitated, we both really enjoyed the social life, so to speak, you know? My friend, in 10th grade, he was voted most humorous in the school. 11th grade, he was voted class favorite. He was the class favorite. And my friend's senior year, he was the homecoming kid of a school of about 2,500 high school students. That's my friend. Well, I do have friends. Semantics. I had 2 friends. I got that turned around. It's my fault. I had 2 friends. And it was really interesting because I hung out with this guy from my youth group. He was the president, I was the vice president. It was a big deal, you know, in our little Mennonite youth group. And then this other guy who was a pastor's kid, Baptist. We didn't hold it against him in school. And so we hung out. And so we're all hanging out. Now, there were 2 places in my high school where you could hang out. The one place, and Katie, I'll have you show up, was at this big wall. Look at this. This is the main academic building at my high school. And this wall is huge. It's such an attractive nuisance. I mean, I'm surprised that people didn't lose their lives over this wall. And right in the center, you can't see it, but there was a big idol, a big statue of a caveman. It just stood there like this. Made of iron. We were the Carlsbad cavemen. And every Friday morning, this is where you really wanted to hang out. I mean, right here, it was the who's who. I mean, these football players, like Friday Night Lights, I mean, they were gigantic. They had their numbers branded into their head. I mean, it was crazy. Maybe it was just shaved, but it looked like a brand, you know. Mohawks and crazy stuff. They'd wear their jersey. They'd strut around. And then you had these cheerleaders, and I didn't realize, you know, I grew up Mennonite, and they'd wear these skirts. I mean, they were so short, it was just so inappropriate. Never knew where to look. It is crazy. I won't even go there. And then you had these people that were I don't know, they wore sweaters and tied them, or they had their collars popped up, or they had these, you know, I don't know. But it was the pretty people that all hung out there. Well, I didn't exactly hang out there. I hung out over on the side wall. So I could look around and see what was going on, but I'm on the side wall. My wall, it was my little group of guys, the nerd herd. We didn't come up with that. And then there was a couple other groups. There was a group that had these blue corduroy jackets on, cowboy hats, a pinch between the cheek and gum, cowboy boots, FFA, something or other, you know, and they all hung out over there. And then there's another group. This group, you don't even make eye contact. It's New Mexico. It's 100 degrees, and they're in black trench coats with like permanent guy liner. You know what I mean? And they just look at you. It was creepy. Black fingernail polish, the whole nine. But we didn't really look at that group. And then there's this other group way in the back, and it was just a haze of smoke. I don't know what was going on. It was just smoky. Teachers look around. Teachers look around. Okay. One morning, we'd always just be talking and we'd check to see what's going on at the main event, especially on Fridays. It was a Friday morning. We're looking, all the football players are there, the cheerleaders are there. And you know, it's really interesting because we just were spectators. But this particular morning, I popped around the corner. Oh, I came back. Eye contact. 2 football players were coming toward us. Oh my goodness, I said, guys, I think it's Frank and I think it's Jason, and they're coming toward us. Oh, this doesn't look good. Why would they be coming over here, I wonder? And I popped back around and then I heard it. Hey, Hartman, come here. I didn't know they knew my name. I was kind of impressed. I was like, wow. Yeah, hey guys, what's up? And they grabbed me, one on each side, and they paraded me right in front of the statue, right to the center of the wall, this very wall, and they said, today's your day. I said, what do you mean today? Whoop, I'm over the wall. They're holding on to me. And I'm just hanging there. All this blood is rushing to my brain. Oh my goodness. And my books are starting to slide out of my hands. And I realize that's not the only thing sliding. They have my pants, they don't have my legs. And so now I'm starting to slide out of my pants. And this is not how I want to die. Showing the world the full moon, you know what I mean? This is awful. And I'm just about to fall to my death. Blood, I'm going to pass out, I'm going to die. I know it. They bring me back up. And they give me a shove. They say, get out of here, Hartman. Get out of here. Man, it's a tough memory. My friend and I both gravitated to the field of education. My friend started in middle school. Every time he was observed, there would be comments like, master teacher, relates well with young people, great learning strategies and teaching strategies employed. And he went on to be a college professor, and he actually chaired the faculty at a college. Well, I too started in middle school. I did my student teaching at Wilbur S. Pence Middle School in Rockingham County, Virginia. It was country. It was rural. And here I was. The morning, it was 8 weeks in to the semester. I'm doing my first student teaching, and I'm nervous, and I'm going in to teach special education. And I had a navy blue sport coat that my parents had got me my senior year of high school. I had put on the freshman 15 or 20 or so, and it was a little tight. My tie, I didn't really know how to tie a tie. My tie came to like right here. You know? It was short. I had like these Docker, they look like dress pants, but they're not really, they're like denim kind of. You know, they're khaki looking. And so, and then I didn't have black socks. I had white socks, but I had black shoes. But I'm ready to get into the teaching profession. And so I walked into this classroom, mustering up as much courage as I could, and I stood in the back of the room. This class had been working on a writing project all semester. This is a class where students struggled with their writing and with their reading. They had significant processing deficits and disabilities. Dyslexia, dysgraphia, dysnomia. You could just go on. And this had been a major project with revision after revision after revision. And this day, my first day, was the day that they were putting the final touches on their final paper. And I'm standing in the back, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Little husky kid. That's a generous word. It's a little husky kid. He said, "Hey, mister, you want to read mine?" "Oh, sure, son." And I just glided over to his desk. I mean, I'm getting into the profession, you see. I am now teacher. And I came up and I put my arm on his back and leaned in like I read in the textbook. Get down on their level, develop rapport, you know. And I'm reading this paper, fine pencil. Just could barely make the words out, but he'd worked so hard on it. And I'm reading this. And you know, it's really, the neuro system is just phenomenal. And one of my associative tasks of swallowing had not been employed. And so I have my mouth open. And I didn't realize how much saliva can build up in one's mouth when you don't get into that automatic swallowing process. And the next thing you know, as I'm reading this paper with great interest, the biggest glop of spit one could ever muster up rolled off the bottom of my lip, kersplat, right in the middle of his paper. Oh, I saw the wood come up through the paper and the words disintegrate. And he looked at me and he went, "Ah!" That's how I got into education. It's unbelievable, people. Look, there are times right now when I think, what in the world am I doing? Who am I? What does my future hold? I shouldn't even be here at Christopher Dock, at Dock, as you guys call it, in your well-branded Dock. I shouldn't even be here, given my background. Matter of fact, if you had any sense at all, you would have invited my friend to come to Dock to speak. But this is where it gets weird. My friend was invited to Dock to speak. And as a matter of fact, this is where it gets even stranger. My friend is here today. I want to welcome my friend. If my friend would just please come forward. My friend, come on up. Here. Wait a minute, where did he? Oh no, here he is. You see, my friend is me. My friend is the me that many of you want to see. Or maybe through the introduction, it's the one that you've been presented. That's the me. But I showed you the other side, and we have this tremendous human tendency when we look in the mirror, or we look to either side of us, when we look around at our peers, to put people into boxes as either winners or losers. There's this duality created. And we hang on to that, and we create a duality. There's a duality in every one of us. Believe it or not, there's a duality of winner and loser. We are both winner and loser, every one of us. But think about how you approach this with other. I was doing some reading, and it was the researcher Jonathan Haidt that said, one of the greatest truths in psychology is that the mind is divided into parts that sometimes conflict. To be human is to feel pulled in different directions and to marvel, sometimes in horror, at your inability to control your own actions. Desire, reason are constantly pulling in different directions. I see the right way and approve it, but follow the wrong way. Does that sound familiar? It's this duality that's in every single one of us. This duality to be special and unique. This duality to fit in. You see, we have the duality of wanting to serve self. You know, the side of you that says, look out for number one. Second place is the first place loser. If you can't run with the dogs down the porch, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get it good. I'm going to have it my way. And I'm the man. That's the one side that pulls.
And yet there's this other side that will want you to serve God and to serve others and to make a positive contribution to society. You know, it's like these two horses pulling the cart. You're the cart, and there's a horse pulling you towards self, toward serving yourself. And there's a horse pulling you over here toward God or to serving other, loving your neighbor as yourself. And you say, well, which horse wins out? Which pulls you? And the great philosophers would contend the horse that you feed the most wins out. In the Bible, there's Simon Peter. And I love this in the biblical text. This was Jesus' boy. It was his guy, his main man, money. And his name was Simon. And if you read the scriptures closely, every time that Simon screws up, Jesus calls him by his biological name, his earthly name, Simon. And every time he gets it right, Jesus calls him by the name that Jesus gave him, Peter. Simon Peter. And it's consistent throughout the biblical text. Think about that duality, Simon, Peter. Or think about Paul, the great apostle, wrote so many books in the New Testament. And Paul says this, man, I do the things I know I'm not supposed to do, and I don't do the things I know I'm supposed to do. What? It's a duality that's in all of us, and we need to pay attention to it. Young people, be aware of the side of you that will be drawn to follow what the media, what the dominant culture, what the macro-marketed, materialistic, me-centered, self-absorbed, nihilistic, narcissistic messaging of society tells you that you have to be in order to become a somebody in this society. In order to become the next top model, the next American Idol, the next Voice with Usher and Shakira, or maybe the next X Factor. Society is going to reinforce over and over the idea that you have to be the lone survivor, metaphorically speaking, working to outwit, to outlast, or outplay someone else, to be a winner. So to create the dichotomy between winner and loser, either or. In this global competitive environment, society will relentlessly tempt you to lie, to cheat, to cut corners in order to win or in order to gain a sense of power, control, or entitlement. All of that will pull you in one direction. But I would contend that the alternative is to be who you were created to be. To be a servant leader, pouring yourself out for others. I never thought I would quote Mr. Rogers in his neighborhood. Some of y'all might not even know who Mr. Rogers is. He was corny. I didn't even like him as a kid. Because his hood was different than my hood. And he was in his neighborhood. But this is what he said. Mr. Rogers, just before dying, said, when I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news or in the world, and my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I'm always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers out in society, so many caring people in the world. So I urge you to go out from this place and be helpers. Be the one running into danger for the sake of others. Be the one who decides to take care of our planet, determined to leave a smaller carbon footprint. Be the one who works at diminishing prejudice and discrimination by first addressing your very own individual implicit preferences, your privileges. Be the one who recognizes that we truly live in a multicultural society. Always, always remembering that the very worst four-letter word in the English language is the word them. Be the one committed to always solving conflict in non-violent ways. And above all, recognize the importance of a faith in a power beyond your own. That of the risen Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. As I close, I want to attempt something in the spirit of risk-taking. I mean, I've already told you I'm such a loser. I have nothing to really lose because I put it all out there. But I want to turn the tables for a minute. And I want to sample the youthfulness of artists today with a borrowed genre from my own youth. So please allow me to demonstrate what it means to risk public failure in order to stay true to who you are. As I share this personally written, melodious, rhythmic, lyrical poem for you here at Christopher Dock High School. As I close, may you be blessed. May you learn to recognize your duality and strive to be who God has created you to be in the name of Jesus. So Katie, Lee, Liam, can you all help me out a little bit? Let's crank this thing up. Yeah, let's turn up that music. Can we turn it up a little bit? Can y'all hear that? Yeah, just a little bit more. This is like when the rappers are supposed to say cool stuff like, yeah, what, you know, I don't know anymore. I'm a little mad. Check it out. Pioneers, as you cross the stage, the struggle, the effort you made, learning about the nation, aren't you glad you stayed? Hey, yeah, I've been thinking about you now, and all the many decisions that you got going down. You got to skit, scat, skadoodle, skadoodle. You got to go out and start serving up your dream. Friendships, many last a lifetime. Others got to do just maybe one time. Your best to get your props while the ratchets be hating. The baby, they're fading, and now you're creating a brand new narrative. You got it going on. You gotta rise up, yo. You gotta stay strong. I want you to be what you're created for. To love, to lead, to serve, to flow. I want you to read about it in the great book. I want you to download it on your look. I want you to tweet, take a pic, take a look. The gospel of Jesus, straight off the hook. The clock just hit you, stopped and split you. Your duality is quite a mixture. Back at the school, yeah, you had a good stay. Wake up tomorrow and attack a new day. Hey, say, do the drum work, song work, bottom to the top, make a difference on the homework. All the blood, the sweat, the tears, all those tests for so many years. Now it's time for some exhilaration. You know, it's not celebration. I'm the VP of EMU. Yeah, my friends, I'm spitting it for you. Peace. I'm out. Thank you.